so much, Patty. Thank you to everyone at Grassroots Alliance for having me here. It is so refreshing to have the chance to talk to real humans. It is a huge welcome change from the dysfunction of the House of Representatives. And let me tell you, the House under Speakers Mike Johnson and Kevin McCarthy, it's been what we call, where I grew up, a doozy, featuring not one, but two lengthy speakership debacles and continued uncertainty about how Republicans will govern with the majority they have. So the solution to their struggles to govern is to put them out of power so that we, as Democrats who are ready to govern, not just for Democrats, we are ready to govern for America, for Americans. And so we need to make sure that we're doing the work here in California. Given the slim majority that we have right now, we could flip enough seats in our state alone to retake the House majority. So don't get me wrong. I want us to build a durable Democratic majority that wins in every part and pocket of this country. But I want to use this time to talk about why our work here in California really matters. I know many of you already know why, but it's a conversation that I find myself having to have again and again and again with people in DC. So as Patty said, I was elected in 2018 as part of a historic class that energized the electorate, that flipped the House, and we won 7 seats here in California, and I became the first Democrat ever to represent my part of Orange County. 2 years later, the very next election cycle, 4 of those 7 seats flipped back to Republicans, and that is where they remain today. So it is shocking to me, given that, what we did to deliver the majority, the tough losses we took in 2020, that so many of these so-called political operatives in DC don't realize that just because you are in a blue state doesn't mean you don't have swing seats, doesn't mean you don't have persuadable voters, doesn't mean that you don't need to have a strong field program. If we sit back and count on the blue nature of California, if we do what we did for so many years, places like Orange County won't be Democratic. And so it's really, really important that because we don't get much national political attention from national political organizations, and let's face it, I'm a truth teller, so here's the stone cold truth. Joe Biden is not going to come to California to do anything other than raise money. And he should. He should raise money here. He should spend his time in swing states, Nevada and Pennsylvania and Ohio and Montana. But he's not going to be carrying the top of the ticket for these House seats. We don't have a governor on the ballot. We don't have an attorney general on the ballot. We now have a wonderful colleague of mine from the House, Adam Schiff, who's going to easily beat Steve Garvey. So where are the people up the electoral chain who are going to be funding a field program, hiring canvassers, putting up billboards, sending out mail, running text programs? Those folks are not going to come from DC. Those are the people on this call. So I sometimes hear candidates say, well, I just need the cavalry to come. I can win, but I just need help. I need the cavalry. I have news for you. You are the cavalry. If you are waiting for someone to come from Washington, you're going to be waiting a long time. And I have seen that in my races. I got very moderate support my first election in 2018, virtually no support in 2020, and no outside support in 2022. And what am I? Winner, winner, chicken dinner in Congress. So you can't wait until, okay, this cat, I got my kids this cat because I lost the Senate race, and I promised if I lost, I would get them this cat, but it's making me absolutely crazy right now. So pardon me if you see me swatting at things. The cat is also wants to be part of our grassroots movement. So we had in our race had to raise and spend over $25 million to defend the 47th seat. What did we do? We outperformed every other Democrat on the ballot, from Governor Newsom to our Orange County Board of Supervisors candidate. So I know that it can be done, but that it's not easy. And the help isn't going to come from Washington. It's going to come from us, from Californians who decide that they're willing to work where they're needed in California. So the work that the Alliance does is just so important because we have several California races that were decided by a few thousand ballots. And so it really, really matters. Every voter contact matters. So I thank my lucky stars that I get to live in a state as great as California. I'm lucky, grateful that my daughter gets to grow up in a place that is protecting her right to make decisions about her own body. But our state's commitment to safeguarding our freedoms, from LGBTQ and trans freedoms to abortion, means that many, many Californians are not connecting the dots on what will happen to our rights here in California if Republicans control Congress and the White House. And you don't have to speculate here. Donald Trump has said that he will support a national abortion ban of a certain type. House and Senate Republicans have said that they will support a national abortion ban and are likely to go even further than Trump. And so as I saw in my own close election in 2022, after Roe was overturned, that alone isn't enough to build a durable Democratic majority, particularly in states here like California. It is not a substitute for doing the work and talking with voters. So the outreach that we do at the voter level is instrumental in reminding people what is at stake. The other good news I think about California this cycle, besides this amazing alliance and many groups all across the state that join with you and do the work of knocking doors and contacting voters, is that we have some terrific candidates, I think. I've already endorsed 3 of them through my leadership organization, Truth to Power, and have been giving and raising money for them. Dave Min, who is the current state senator, he represents me and my family, and I think I can give him the highest commendation by just saying Dave has never taken a vote that I disagreed with. So, and I'm pretty picky, right? I'm willing to hold Democrats and Republicans to account. His voting record really speaks for itself, particularly on issues like gun violence prevention. So Dave Min, our current state senator, came through the primary. He's running in this seat, taking on the same Republican, Scott Baugh, that I beat last time. We spent millions of dollars telling Orange County the truth, that Scott Baugh is a lobbyist lawbreaker. Dave is going to be able to build on that to hang on to this seat. I've also endorsed Will Rollins, who I think is just terrific. Very, very top caliber candidate. He's running against Ken Calvert in Palm Springs. And Ken Calvert has the virtue for Democrats that he's pretty lazy. So Will is a super hard worker. He came so close last cycle. So with enough hard work, we're going to be able to elect Will Rollins and get rid of Ken Calvert. I've also endorsed Derek Tran, a Vietnamese candidate who is running against Michelle Steele. We saw a lot of disinformation and misinformation in language in Vietnamese last cycle. Derek is really well positioned to counter that, doing things like speaking in Vietnamese on Vietnamese local television, radio, and print. None of those 3 candidates, Dave and Will and Derek, take corporate PAC money. So let's remember the class of 2018 ran on 2 things: standing up to Trump, wresting control of the House of Representatives back from Republicans, and changing how Washington works to make our government more responsible. We weren't a class of career politicians. We were a class of Army Rangers, a class of business owners, a class of nurses, a class of public health officials, a class of professors. And we brought those skills into the job and fresh energy into Washington. So I'm really excited that Truth to Power is supporting them. We support candidates who do 2 things, just 2 things: reject corporate PAC money and pledge to fight for a ban on congressional stock trading. We have a questionnaire and it literally has 2 questions. This is like unheard of, but we're really trying to focus people on 2 messages that we believe any candidate running in any swing seat, regardless of its geography, its demography, whether it's up in far northern California, whether it's here in Orange County, whether it's in between, those are winning issues, period. They're winning issues to persuade Republicans who can be persuaded. They are winning issues to engage younger voters who are concerned about corruption. They are winning issues for core Democrats who want to see the party live up to the promises that it made. So I'm very, very excited to help you to be out on the ground and do some door knocking myself. I've already turned over my big, huge whiteboard to another candidate. I've given Dave 250 clipboards, 10 printers. I actually just gave him the keys to my entire campaign storage cubicle. And that's the kind of collaborative, hard work and support that these candidates are going to need. And they are so lucky to have California Grassroots Alliance with them. Thank you all so much for your work.